tuned into the most unpredictable podcast on the World Wide Web.
It's about to shut it.
Shut it! It's Say It Loud, hosted by Karen.
Down! Hey!
On major platforms, and you are locked in.
You are locked in.
You know what it is. Pour up a glass of wine, ladies. Let the Henny flow, fellas. And get ready to turn the fuckery up to lip scatter. It's Karen Hill live on Say It Loud Radio on your favorite internet platform, streaming live.
It is another episode of Say It Loud Podcast, and today in my hot seat, why don't you tell them who you are? I know who you are. Why don't you tell them who you are?
Yeah, y'all. What's up, y'all? What's up? I'm happy to be here. My name is Jacques Tassy. I'm a founder and designer of the Jacques. I had to stop through, show my girl some love. What's up, mama? What's good, Karen?
I'm chilling. I'm a big fan, so I've been following you for a while. And I know we know a lot of the same people, but we don't actually know each other. But I'm definitely a fan of the work you're doing with the clothing line. So
Thank you.
I wanted to have you on the show because I was like, it's so refreshing to see the energy. And like, you was doing this before it was a thing. I think we need to talk about that too. Like, some people are now just getting up to like, all right, let's celebrate the culture. Let's do this. But like, you was doing this before it was like the trendy Black Lives Matter thing to do. So let's talk about that. What was the inspiration?
Well, the inspiration behind the Jacques was I wanted to represent where I was from. You know, I come from a culture where back in the days where being Haitian wasn't something that was accepted.
Right.
You know, where Haitians used to lie about and say they were Jamaican because they either thought they were going to get jumped or people wouldn't approve them or accept them. So I grew up in that era, you know, Nyack, Spring Valley, where dudes is like, it was awful to be Haitian, and in that area was a large population of Haitians.
Right.
So, you know, I started a clothing line, and when I first started, it was like animal prints. I just wanted to do different stuff, like stuff to go to clubs with and try to show off pop bottles, and that wasn't working out too much. You know, you had competition with Sean John, Fubu, and all that other crazy stuff. So it wasn't working. And I got the idea to put the Haitian flag on the sleeves. I was like, yo, what if I rep my culture? See what happens. And I did. And people liked it. And I just kept building on the snowball. And it just came this huge snowball. And everybody just adapted to it and they loved it. And I just ran with it.
Wow. So when did you start? When did you start this line?
I started about
talking about Sean John. That's a minute ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's back in the days, you know, those were the brands. Well, Sean John was popping back in the days before they got sold. It was popping, and that was my inspiration to have a clothing line, just like that. You know, right now, those clothing brands were long gone. But that was my inspiration, like Diddy, to be like, damn, they started a clothing line, let me do it. So, you know, I was into rap at first, and that was my transition. I still had that in my, it wasn't around when I was doing rap too much, but it was around a little bit at Macy's. But that was my transition to say, I'm not rapping anymore. Let me try something else. So I got the idea from like Diddy and everybody else doing it, how successful they were. And I got down with it. You know, it didn't work at first, but by 2015.
Why do you say it didn't work?
Because, you know, when you start a clothing brand, everybody think it's real easy. They're like, oh, well, I'm going to just make a logo, throw it on a shirt, and I'm going to sell it. Cool. Yeah, you're going to make a couple of sales to your people. But then when you realize after all your people's got it, how am I going to get it out to the masses? And that's when you get stuck. And then when you get stuck, you get discouraged. And then now you don't want to do it no more. But when I started, I was like, I have a crazy idea. Everybody's in the club. It's time where going in the club and spending $500 to $1,000 for bottles was cool. I was like, let me see if I can get these guys like these animal prints on the sleeves to wear to make them look real cool, because everybody's just like looking regular.
Right.
Or trying to do the Gucci and the Pradas and all that crazy shit. So I tried that, and it was cool, but my prices was real crazy. I was like, I'm gonna just sell a shirt for like $150 and see who buys it. And 1 or 2 sales like every other month.
Right.
And it wasn't working. I was getting discouraged, just like everybody else trying to start a brand. And I got the idea through a friend of mine. You know, I was complaining. I was like, damn, nobody's buying my stuff, man. Like, I'm ready to just get out of here, man. Like, I tried rap. You know, it was cool, and I won Underground Music Awards, and everything was dope, but nobody's really buying my brand. And he was like, man, listen, you Haitian, man, just rep your culture. And I was like, yo, you know what? You're absolutely right. I didn't know how I was gonna do it, but I knew that being in New York, I had all the resources.
Right.
You know, New York has everything, the fashion district, downtown, everything. So I had all the resources just walking around seeing stuff. And I was like, damn, I know where I can get Haitian flags from. So I went down there and I took a chance, just like anybody. I was like, I'm going to just try it. It's not going to kill me to try it.
Right.
I went on Amazon. I brought a sewing machine. I didn't know how to sew. On YouTube. Yeah, I didn't know how to sew. I mean, when I
was
first got
gonna
my sewing
ask
machine,
you that. Like, were you inclined to sew? Like, did you know how to do that, or you just were like, I'm gonna just teach myself?
I really didn't know what the hell I was doing. So I buy this sewing machine. I'm just staring at it like. And at that time, YouTube was like, you know, YouTube is not at that time, 2015. YouTube is not what it was now.
Right.
Where now you get detail on how to do everything. YouTube was just like a dude that's like, hey, you want to learn how to sew? Then this is what you gotta do. So I'm like, I gotta keep rewinding it. I missed a step. What did I do wrong? Like right now, companies, you could buy something and they'll teach you exactly what to do.
Right.
In 2015, it wasn't like that. It was just like, yeah. You bought the sewing machine. Here's our brand. Buy it. And this, do that. And I was just learning. And I made mistakes. And finally, I got the sleeves on. And I took a picture. Just to take a picture, be like, yo, let me see what they say. You know, they could have shamed me or whatever, but I didn't care.
Yeah.
I was like, what's the worst that's going to happen? I'm going to get one like. And
right.
I actually got it, and my like first like was a dude that's like, hey, how much for that shirt?
Wow.
And I was just like, $40. Give me $40. And he was with it. He was like, yo, you take PayPal? And I was like, yeah, I take PayPal. And he did it, and I did that. And I remember telling him, yo, if you wear it, just send a picture to me. And he actually wore it at a barbecue that summer. Sent a picture to me. I put it up online, and I just was like, yo, maybe I could just like do different things with Haiti flags.
Right.
Like a hoodie, shorts. And I just started just like, these ideas just kept flowing. I was just putting stuff out there. Even though I didn't have it, I just had one piece for me. But I made it seem like, but I made it seem like everybody was buying it. You know what I mean? And I preached that to all my up and coming designers, like, yo, make it big. You got to make it look big. Everything is marketing. And with online, you know, just like the regular lives, people always make their lives seem bigger than what it is. So that's what I do with my clothing, man. I'm just like, anytime I get a chance to go to a family function or a barbecue, I will wear these. This is the Haiti flag, the first one I actually made. Not the actual first one, but this was the actual first design I ever made, right? So I wore it to a family function. I took pictures. I put it up like I was actually wearing it. Anything, a party. I'll be at a party.
Rep your brand.
I'll be at a Dipset party. No hip hop, no Haitians at all. I'll wear it.
Yeah.
And just like we always know, Haitians are everywhere. And it went from like a dude randomly coming up to me at a gangster hip hop party. Yo, you Haitian? Yeah. Yo, where can I get that?
Right.
Same thing. I got you. Go to my website. I got you. Take a picture when you got it. I got you. He took a picture. And now you're starting to see 5 people with pictures on my site. And now people are like, yo, people are actually liking this shit. Like, they're wearing it. And like I said, I kept building on a snowball and I just let it roll.
That's amazing. When you listen to the story, because a lot of people would have A, probably given up, or B, been like, I don't know where to take it from here.
Where to take it. And that's everybody. You know, everybody always come out with a brand and I see it. And I try to preach and I try to help people out, you know. And I'm like, I'm gonna help you out. Like, you know, I don't want to give my sources up, but then sometimes there's people I actually know, and I'm like, hey, listen, I'm not gonna say nothing, but if you go to this location right here, you could probably get that to make that look better. And they're like, oh, thanks. But,
I feel like people need to do that sometimes. Yeah, like I feel like we need to support each other when it comes to that sometimes, because there's like a wealth of knowledge and we don't want to share it at times. And it's like, damn, if somebody would have just told me, I probably wouldn't have quit, or I probably would have, you know, did something a little bit different, you know? And I think there's people that are OGs from trial and error, like just from making those mistakes that could help other people. What do you think has been the biggest obstacle about starting a clothing line, building a brand? What do you think has been the biggest obstacle for you?
Well, the biggest obstacle to me is the creativity. You know, everybody come out with one design and they keep running with that same design. But I always preach to have fun with it. You know, challenge yourself to see what other styles you can make. You know, and I'm not gonna. I did Haiti, but at some point I was like, I'm gonna do everybody.
Right.
So if I go in my closet and show you, I have a whole bag of everybody's flags: Barbados, Jamaica, Trinidad. Everywhere, yo, everywhere.
You need to be on Eastern Parkway.
Oh man, I have a whole bag because I got to a point where I seen where it was going. I was like, oh, I gotta make everybody, and that's what everybody was saying: make everybody, make everybody. And I did, and I was really busy at one point because everybody was new to it. So everybody wanted to rock their flags, and I was just extremely busy. And then it died down a little bit where I noticed it was just Haitians always checking for me. Haitians.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just limit it to just my peoples. You know, I'm gonna just limit.
But there's nothing wrong with that,
peoples.
because when you think about it, when you think about sales, right, and you think about marketing, it's like, who's your people? What's your niche market? What makes you not necessarily different? Yeah, but what's your target audience? So there's nothing wrong with having a target audience that continues to just keep coming back. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If there's a need and you're able to meet that need of those people, like that's that. You know what I mean? And that's a part of, you know, your niche. You know, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I think that that's dope. I have a question though. Like, what inspires you? Do you ever just be like, "Dag, I got nothing"?
I let it flow. I put it in the hands of God. You know.
Really?
Yeah, I put it in the hands of God. You know, I like to get inspired by everything in my surroundings.
Yeah.
So I'll walk the street and I'll see something, and I'm like, damn, I could do that in my own style. You know, you got to get inspired by your environment, things that you see every day, things that people say. You know, like when I wanted to do hoodies, for example, I was like, all right, so let me challenge myself. Everybody sees a hoodie, and what's the first thing they say? I'm gonna put something on the chest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put something on the hood. That's cool, but what are you gonna do with something different? So I was like, I'm gonna put the Haitian flag on the pocket. So I would stitch out the pockets, put the flag on there, and re-stitch it back. It's a process, but it worked out, and people love it. And I'm the only dude that I've ever seen with that. Varsity jackets, for example. I was like, yo, I like varsity jackets. I like the way people look in college. That's dope. What am I gonna do? Throw a million patches on it. Rep Haiti all over the varsity jackets, just like they would do in college with all the football patches, the big numbers, the letters. And I did the same thing, and it worked out. And I'm the only dude that's doing varsity jackets. You know, just the creativity of just letting it flow. You could try trial and error, just like I do sometimes. I can't think of the ideas. I'll sit in front of my computer and I'm like, what isn't everybody doing that I could do that's gonna make me stand out? You know, I got to a point where after I noticed, after 3, 4 years, 5 years, I was like, everybody caught on, and there's other Haitian designers doing Haiti stuff, throwing a Haitian flag all over the place. I'm like, that's cool, but what are you gonna do to represent Haiti without doing what everybody else is doing? That's when I started getting into different things like sneakers and you know, little stuff to throw the Haiti flag on, and graduation sashes. Then people started doing graduation sashes. You know, it was the littlest niches to try to represent Haiti. People caught on, but you know, there's money for everybody. You can't hate on the next man for seeing your idea. Maybe you inspired the next man, just like somebody inspired me to be creative. So it's cool. It's always a challenge. And
that was gonna be my next question too. That was gonna be my next question. Do you see people like stealing your ideas, and you're like, yo, fuck, I'm sick and tired of this shit? Like, or do you feel like, nah, it's okay, I'll just come with the next thing?
Nah, because at the end of the day, the main goal is to represent Haiti, right? That's the main goal. It's not to get rich off of the Haitian culture. It's to represent and push the Haitian culture, you know? And that was my main goal anyway. So my mom always used to be like, oh, you know, they're going to steal your ideas. You know, they're going to steal your ideas. And my response is like, Mom, I know, but at the end of the day, if you get 10 people stealing your ideas, there still be 10 people pushing the Haitian culture. And that's fine with me. It just challenges me to outdo them. You know what I mean? Never be in your feelings where you're like, oh, they're stealing my ideas. I had a million Haitian designers. I had a Haitian designer, you know, I'm not gonna say his name, you know, who hit me up and was like, all right, so bust it. So I knew a location in New York where I could get, you know, these scarves. You know, I don't know if he was getting them from that same manufacturer or if it's actually his style, but I found them. I had a dude selling them wholesale. It was these beautiful Haitian scarves, beautiful. And I was like, yo, that's dope. I went to my manufacturer and I was like, yo, how much? He's like, well, it's this, that, the third for a dozen. I was like, yo, I'll take it. I started flossing them, boom, boom, boom. I went online. I saw people taking pictures of other people wearing them. I was like, yo, I'm throwing this shit on my site. I'm selling these. And I started rocking and rolling. This designer got in his feelings and literally hit me up and was like, yo, bro, that's my scarf. Take it down. I was like, what you mean that's your scarf? I didn't steal your idea. I didn't make this. I didn't see your idea, went in the crib and remanufactured your idea. No.
Right.
I was downtown at all my manufacturers doing what I do, shopping around, and your scarf was at this place and they sold it to me at wholesale. So I bought it. So if anything, if you had any parts with this wholesaler, then I'm making you money because they should be paying you. Nah, right. But I'm the one that came out with that first, and I'm selling it, and that's my niche, and you selling it on your site, so you messing up my money. I'm like, yo, there's money for everybody, fam.
Right.
And
right.
I totally disregarded him. You know, I'm from New York. We really don't care. I'm like, yo, man, get out of here. And I deaded him, and I still was selling it on my site. And this dude was mad persistent to a point where it was almost getting like beef, like he's hitting me up, and I'm like, yo. And I'm like, yo, fam, you keep coming at me, but I'm getting it. You need to speak to the people that I'm getting it from, not me. I'm getting it from the plug. You need to speak to your plug and tell them to stop selling your shit if it's yours.
But they're not going to do that either because it's a wholesale item. You and I both know that. Like, if it's a wholesale item, everybody got white tees, but you're going to get mad at me because I got a white tee. Like, they selling it wholesale.
And that's how I was feeling. Like, everybody's selling white tees because you're the first dude that sold white tees to the hood. Now you feeling like, I can't sell white tees, but I'm not getting it from, I'm not crossing nobody. I'm getting it from a plug. And you need to talk to that plug. Go handle it with them. But anyway, so I figured there was two options. I could either keep beefing with this dude about it or just say fuck him and do what I got to do. And I don't want no beef in the hood. You know, we Haitian. Even though dude was from another state, I really didn't care. Even if it's from my hood, I really didn't care. But I didn't want that kind of energy. I didn't want that kind of energy around. And I had a catalog already of items. He was just beefing about that. And when I checked his catalog, I'm like, dude had like 3 items. So I'm like, yeah, maybe this is his way of eating. And you know what? There's money for everybody. So I figured it out. I hit him up. I was like, yo, fam, look. If you're really adamant about coming at me for this, I'll take it off my site. There's a million other items in my catalog I could sell. Fine. I'll let you eat off of this. Go ahead. And I actually took it off my site. And whatever pieces I had left that I bought, I actually sent it to people who ordered over like $200. I was like, yo, I threw an extra scarf in there for you. Here, it's yours.
Yeah. No, that's dope. I took the loss. That's dope.
But the whole point, dude wound up saying, damn, he was cool. He didn't keep beefing with me. He actually was like, chill. And then that was it. And I moved on and I created 10 more new items from those scarves since then. You know what I mean? So it was fine.
That's crazy though. I feel like it happens, but I feel like, again, if you're purchasing wholesale items from a wholesaler, like everybody has access to it. You know,
correct.
So you can't get mad.
So he would have been beefing with 10 people trying to sell 10 of those items, but I knew that I was, and the funny part, the manufacturer was from China.
Of course he was. All the manufacturers are from China. It's like he's going to sell it to whoever's going to buy it. So, you know, at this point, I feel like unless you make it yourself, like you sat there and you sold your shirts or you sketched the design.
Correct.
You know,
not stealing.
Yeah. If it's mass production, then it's just mass production. Like, and so people got to know the difference between like, that's mine versus did you sit down, sketch it, sew it together and then put it out there. You know, I think, I don't know. So you said, I didn't know this about you, but you said you actually was in music and you used to dabble in rap music and stuff like that.
Yeah. I used to get it in.
Really? Were you nice?
I'm nice.
Really?
I'm really, really nice. Like, that was my thing growing up, you know, in the Bronx. Like when I left the Bronx, Co-op City, I was going to school, IS 180 next to Truman, and I was going to Truman and you know, that was my thing. They knew me. They was like, yo, this kid is nice in rap. And then my mom sent me to Spring Valley, and Spring Valley showed me so much love. Like, yo, Haitian rapper that's actually nice. Like, he's from out here, but he was born in Haiti. He's actually nice. And back in the days, there was a club called Rage in Spring Valley. Jay-Z opened up there once. I opened up for Tabu Combo there as a kid. I opened up for a bunch of people there. Silhouette. I opened up for Busta Rhymes and Silhouette. I
remember all those places.
Yeah, I did a song with Elephant Man. Like I was like Spring Valley really took my rap career to another level because it's a small town. Right. So because it's a small town, you knew who was nice.
Yeah.
If there was a dude doing something, he was nice in basketball, you knew that was him. If there was a dude rapping, you knew that was him. And I was that kid out of, like 10 kids in Spring Valley that was really rap. Everybody was rapping, but we was really nice. Like I was doing shows. Everybody would throw me on the stage. Whoever was performing in Spring Valley that time, I was the dude opening up. I was in the streets, battling, doing everything, winning. And then when I finished high school, I went to college in Philly, and I graduated. And when I went back to the Bronx, that's when I really kept going hard with my rap career. Got signed to E1. I won 2 Underground Music Awards.
Wow.
And a bunch of different awards in New York City. I was just all over the place. And when I got into the industry, it just wasn't working out for me. By then, I was exhausted. I had no money. I was young. I started a family. I had a daughter. We were struggling and paying studio time, 6-7 hours for one song, having to try to do a whole album. Next thing you know, you spending about $1,500 to $2,000 just recording. Wasn't working out. And I was like, I got to find something that's going to generate money for me that I love. And that's how I transitioned from rap. My fans didn't like it, but, I wound up doing a bunch of songs with people. Saigon, Elephant Man.
Wow.
I was all over the
place. I love Elephant Man.
Yeah, I did a song with him that never came out. I actually toured. I was in Ocho Rios. At the time, there was a tour called Follow the Arrow Tour, Ocho Rios. I actually flew there, went on stage, ripped it. The song I did it to was Swiss Beat at the time was, "It's hard to yell when the barrel's in your mouth. Bent, bring them out, bring them out." And I came out to that. Yeah. And the whole Jamaica went crazy. They probably thought I was Swiss. So I looked like him, and I had the whole hat backwards and a Bob Marley shirt, and I was on stage. They probably was like, "Oh!" And at that time, that song was popping. It was like, "Oh, that's Swiss," and they loved me, And I remember I got on stage, and the dude was like, "Yo, you was dope, man. You was dope. Yo, last year they booed Ja Rule." I was like, "Oh shit."
Right. Yeah, it's rough. It's right. Jamaica don't play.
Jamaica don't play.
Yeah, it's rough. My parents are Jamaican. That's how I know they don't play.
Yeah.
So, because of the music, because I think like fashion and music go together in my mind, right? And like fashion has so much to do with the culture and the trends of the culture. Like, how do you stay on top of that?
Well, the culture and music, or just the
like using the music to push the fashion.
Oh, well, I tried to tie it in but I transitioned from hip hop. I totally just left hip hop and just went straight into fashion. But in between that, what I would do is, because people knew I was still rapping, like I said, when I was doing the animal sleeves at first, I would actually rock my gear and go to events.
Yeah.
And that's when people was like, "Who's that?" Like, for example, there was a dude in Harlem called Sugar J at the time, that I was starting my brand, Sugar J. His girl at the time was some girl named Nessa, who's real big on Instagram. They both big. They was ill, and I was hanging out with them at the time. So in Harlem, they was going to all the ill parties, rappers, strip clubs, and all that. And I would wear my brand when I first started to hang out with them, and people knew me as a rapper at the time. So being with them and then rapping, people would come up to me and they'd be like, "Yo, what is that?" I'm like, "Yo, that's my brand. I'm doing fashion now." And that's how I actually transitioned and basically just, got into it with the trends and figured it out until I got into it with the Haiti stuff. So
no, I definitely feel that though. I really do feel like there's so much of hip hop culture in fashion, and people don't even notice it. You know what I mean? But it does grow, and it is a trend. And I'm sure part of your authenticity is in the fashion that you have, and there's still parts of you that are like, I listen to this music. This is a part of my Haitian culture, my hip hop culture, my Bronx culture, and then put that in your clothes.
Yeah, but that's what it's about. Like I said, I always wanted to push my culture, and I figured out the fashion was definitely a way to do it. People want to wear, they want to represent, and at the time, I've never seen it done before, and that's why I was one step ahead. Is people were not wearing flags on sleeves.
Right. Right. I feel like fashion designers are leaders in helping to create the culture. Do you feel that it feels like a burden for you? Like for the Haitian culture, do you feel like it's a burden, or you're like, nah, let's just keep going, let's create new things? You know, do you feel like you're carrying the torch right now?
No, because I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one. Everybody else is doing it now. I don't know if I was the first, but I definitely was part of that movement that started pushing the culture through fashion. And I feel like now a lot of people's doing it, and I just feel like I'm just a helping hand. Coming from Haiti, we've had it rough all these years. So for us to see people smiling, appreciating us in fashion, with Kodak Black, with hip hop, Wyclef Jean, and our athletes, Naomi in tennis, feels great that we're able to push our culture through various forms, various platforms.
Right.
And that's important. And that's very important. Yeah, so it's like Haitians are so deep everywhere around the world that no one Haitian holds the torch. It's like we're all giving a helping hand to lift the culture up. There's no one person. Like I don't consider myself like, I always tell myself, yo, you the illest. You the illest in this fashion design. I always tell myself that. But I know there's somebody iller than me. I know somebody with a doper design than me, and that's cool, and I like that. I see things online, other designers, and I never say competitors, I say other designers, and I'm like, that shit is dope, and I'm not scared to hit a like, and I'm not scared to tell him, yo, that's dope. And they all see it. They're like, oh shit, Jacques just said my shit is dope. So, and and that's dope. And I think we need to do that more.
We need to do that more as a people, but for sure. What advice would you give to like up and coming designers?
Create your brand. If you create your brand, everything is not going to be peaches and cream at first. You're going to invest a little more than you expected. You have to be creative. You have to come out with something that, it's more than just, I'm going to take a logo and put it on my chest and then put it out and give it to 100 people. No, people are not buying that no more. Right. We want to buy something that makes us feel good. And I always tell people don't follow brands. They follow movements. It's easy for you to put a logo on a shirt. Yeah, cool. But if they don't know your background story or how you work for it or where you're going, what your goals are, they're not buying it. People follow movements. I like to follow a movement. I will buy a shirt knowing where he's going or what he's been through. Mm-hmm. Right? What his goal is or what he's been through or what he's trying to represent. More or less than just seeing a dope design. If it's the dope design, I'm supporting somebody, I'll buy it and I'll throw it in the head, but I'll probably never wear it again. But if I see like this dude has a movement and it's more than just Haitian clothing, it could be something that's representing something that's really dope or something that maybe I want to be a part of or something that I'm definitely like pro with. You know what I mean? Like I'm with it. Yeah. If people follow movements, they don't follow brands. And that applies to music. It applies to anything that you're doing. For example, if you see a kid that's playing basketball in the street corner and he's nice, you're going to be like, yeah, he's nice. Every day you go to court, he's nice. But if you find out, this kid is actually going to college. Every day I see him practicing. This kid is about to get like big. He's about to go to NBA. Then now you want to follow his movement and you want to really support him. More or less, and this is a kid that's going to basketball courts just to beat everybody. But if you see like he has a following, that's how the following is built. People follow movements, and that's what I'm doing. Yeah, no, I like that. That's a good piece of advice to give anyone actually for anything that they want to do. I never thought about that, but you're right. So let's get into some fuckery now, because this show likes to talk about fuckery. Yeah, absolutely. Let me take a hit of this hookah real quick.
For sure. So you're packing your whole bag, right? Uh-huh. And you need to put 3 items in your whole bag. First of all, do guys carry whole bags? I gotta ask you.
What you mean? Like
that's spending in a night bag. Do guys carry that? Is that like a thing?
The bag? What bag?
Yeah. Like a bag, like an overnight bag. Like if you go to your girl house and you spending the night, do you carry a bag?
Nah.
No? Guys don't carry spending a night bag?
Well, nah, they don't really carry night bags unless you're going for the weekend. If you're going for the weekend somewhere, yeah, but like even my girl, like I'll go to her crib and I was at her crib last night and I took like a pair of jeans and was like, yo, I got any other stuff at your crib that I could just wear next morning? Like, I'm not gonna sit here and pack a bag and go to the house.
But you knew you were spending the night, but you don't pack a bag.
Unless we going out for a weekend or a trip, I'll pack a bag. But if I'm just going for, yeah, she's chilling.
So ask her, when she sleeps over your house, does she pack a bag though?
She asks, if you sleep over my house, do you pack a bag? Nah.
Oh, she don't pack a bag.
First of all, we don't live too far from each other. So she knows at any given moment she could just go. But if she let's say she lived in Queens, she would pack a bag.
So I think packing a bag is more of a ladies thing versus a guy thing.
Yeah, it's a ladies thing. As guys, we don't plan to stay there too long. We gonna go there, we gonna spend some time with you, we gonna eat a breakfast, and then we jumping back in our clothes, we got shit to do. You know what I mean? Like, we not gonna be packing no bags. We ain't staying there too long. Like, I be beefing at her like, yo, love, I got way too much clothes at your crib. I be missing shit. I be trying to go out. She got my belts. She got all my belts.
Because you left it there.
I'm like, yo, you got my belts? She's like, yeah, I got them. And I'm like, yo, I need them. And she'll bounce on a trip somewhere. And I need my belts. You know what I mean? I'm looking for my belts. But I ain't packing no bags.
So guys are not packing bags. All right. So my next question is, there's this whole thing going around about women proposing to men. Would you feel uncomfortable if a woman proposed to you?
I think it's a nice gesture, but I don't think that's their position to do that. You know what I mean?
That's what I say.
Yeah, I think it's whack. I've seen it online, and I just think you know, and it's just my opinion. I don't speak for everybody else, but I just think it's real thirsty. If a man's not sitting there trying to say, yo, let's build a family and make this happen, love, there's no reason for you to try to change his mind and be like, hey, do you want to marry me? That's a man's position to be like, hey, look, let's sit down and make this work. Let's build a family together. It's not your job to be like, hey, do you want to marry? If he hasn't done it yet, obviously, clearly, he's not trying to do it. You know
that's what I said. I said he knows whether or not he wants to marry you. If he wanted to marry you, he would ask you.
If he didn't ask you, then he's not sure. He's not sure. He don't want it. That's what it is.
I don't know. I'm all for women being empowered and getting paid the right wage and doing the right thing and all that, shooting they shot. Like, I'm all for that. But then at some point, I'm like, yeah. But then at some point, I'm like, all right, sis, I don't know about that part though. I don't feel like you should be asking. I still believe in, like, I'm still old school. Maybe it's the culture, maybe it's the Caribbean part, but I'm like, nah. If somebody want to marry you, they're gonna ask you. You don't need that. You don't need to get out on your knee and ask. If they didn't ask you, they don't want to marry you.
Yeah, I'm old school. I'm not with that.
Yeah, I don't like that. So, and one more thing. So there's also this thing going around the internet with the bonnets. And while I was sitting here, I was like, Dad, you should make a Haitian bonnet. A Haitian.
All right. A bonnet is what again? Remind me.
It is like, it looks like a shower cap, but it's made out of cloth. And you put it on at night so that you don't mess up your weave. I don't really use a bonnet because
like a do-rag?
Yeah, like a do-rag, but it looks more like your grandma's shower cap. It's just made out of fabric.
Yeah, I seen that. That was the dude from Friday. Big Worm. Big Worm had that on Friday. He had a bonnet on Friday.
So now everybody's been talking about it because, like, women been coming outside with their bonnet on. And
I'm not with none of that. I live in Washington Heights, and some of these Spanish girls come out and they got like shit that you go to sleep with at night, and they end in the store. Like pajamas. They got pajamas and they think it's cute. Pajamas and sandals and bonnets, and they have to start thinking it's cute. It's not cute, love. Get your ass back in the crib, change, and then come to the store. Ain't nobody want to know that you were sleeping all night and you were so lazy that you didn't want to just change and take a shower and come to the store. You was like, I'ma just stay here and stay. Right?
I'm not a fan of the bonnet being worn outside. Oh, where did it go? I feel like a bonnet is a sleeping. I don't even want to sleep in it, to tell you the truth. But outside of sleeping in it, I just feel like you don't wear your pajamas outside, you shouldn't be outside in your bonnet. That's my honest opinion. And I know we all for like, but it doesn't matter. You don't come outside in your pajamas and your house shoes, then you shouldn't be outside in a bonnet. That's my opinion. And if you got a man and your man is in your house, I don't know how that bonnet flex work, but I'm not with that either. So that's
I'm not with that either.
I don't.
I've seen a couple dudes. I've seen a couple dudes doing that, and that's not cool, bro. Just that pajama shit, man. Just look. I know you was playing 2K all day, and you didn't feel like changing, but bro, come on, throwing some gray sweats at least. You know what I mean? Throwing some gray sweats and something.
I can't do it. I think at some point, and not only that, like I'm a real firm believer, like the way you carry yourself is how people treat you. So if you outside looking like a bum, I'm the same way. Like a bum. I'm probably gonna treat you like a bum. Like, I don't mean to, but like you didn't care enough about yourself to put yourself together to come out here. So why should I care enough to like, you know? I'm a firm believer in that. Like what people see, whether it's real or not, that's how they treat you. So if you outside and you looking like you know you ain't got no home training, then that's how somebody's gonna treat you. Don't get mad at that.
I'm with that 100. I'm 100 on that one.
So where are we going now with this line, and where can people find you? What's next for the Jacques?
Well, for the last 2 years, I've been trying to work with Carnival Cruises. I've been trying to establish me being the lead designer for a store on Norwegian Carnival Cruises to be able to have different flags at a store. So when people go on these trips, they want to go to Barbados, they want to go to Belize, you can go to the store and you can get flag sleeves on it. I was emailing them and they emailed me back, and that was going, and then COVID happened, so I had to put a stop on it, but I'm waiting for that to get back so I could definitely make a move on that. Other than that was a great idea. Other than that, got my website. You know, people still buying stuff. I just made 2 graduation sashes. I have an event in Philadelphia this weekend, Juneteenth, where I'm making black shirts with red, black, and green on the sleeves. Nice. And the patches on the chest. I'm doing that, and it's real smooth. I spoke to my man Shazam. Shout out to Shazam. I'm driving out there. This is my second event in Philadelphia. I'm super excited about. Juneteenth is real dope.
Yeah,
that's their celebration of being black in America, just like we do it, us Haitians. But I'm really excited, so I'm doing that. So I'm trying to stay moving. You never want to be stagnant as a designer. You know, sometimes we get to a point where people's not buying our stuff, and don't be ashamed if they're not buying your stuff. It's just the way business works. One day you're hot, next day you're not hot, but you have to stay focused. You have to stay determined, and you have to keep creating. Remember that. Keep creating. That's the key word.
Well, thank you so much for coming by, gracing us with your presence, hanging out with me.
Absolutely.
Give everybody the website so they can find it. I'll put a link on my website too so they can find you. And everybody, go out there, shop Jacques, rep the brand. Where can they find you?
They can find me at Jacques, JACQUES.US. That's thejacques.us. Thejacques.us. If you can't remember the website, just Google The Jacques Custom Fashion, and I'll pop up on Google. I'm probably #1, The Jacques Custom Fashion, and you'll see me. You can find me on IG, _Jacques. You know, if you see whatever you like, hit me. If there's any questions you have, you can always hit me either on IG or send me an email through my website. I answer everything myself. I've made all my items myself. There's no Chinois, there's no Chinese person in the background doing it. There's no no Indian dude in Pakistan. Everything, God gave me these hands. Everything is made by me. And I've made over 1,500 items and still going, man. I'm by myself. You know what I mean? Nobody else.
Wow, that's good. That's dope. Well, I'm so proud of you and the work that you're doing and how you're repping the brand, taking care of yourself and everybody else too while you're out here doing that. So thank you so much for stopping by. Yeah. And I
thank you. Thank you for having me on the show, man. The show is really dope, man. Really, really dope.
Thank you so much.
We'll come again.
thank you for joining me on another episode of Say It Aloud. I love y'all. Please make sure you continue to subscribe, like, follow, so when episodes drop, you get it. Visit our website at www.sayitloud.com for everything Karen L. Check us out on YouTube. Karen L now has a YouTube channel. Yep, that's me. It's going to be all things Karen L. We've also, for July, revamped our Patreon. It's going to include videos, clips, reviews, behind the scenes, and our current sex sessions where we talk about that journey through finding who you are and then being able to share it with somebody else. So definitely check that out. Season 4, man. It's season 4, guys. I can't believe it. So again, shout out to all of you who show me so much love. Stay tuned for the next episode. It'll be out soon, and I'm dropping snippets in between and all that good stuff. So if you're looking for me, you can find me on all social media platforms. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Pinterest, you name it. I am Karen L. Say It Loud. And yeah, shout out to all the Say It Loud sponsors who continue to help me do what we do. Momentum, Magnified Momentum, Female Rituals, Manscaped, She Orgasm. The list goes on and on and on. Without you guys, we couldn't do what we do. So I appreciate y'all. If you're looking for ad space or sponsorship with Say It Loud, definitely hit me up. Yeah, and we good to go. I'll see y'all next week. We out.
Hit me.
Yeah. Please be clear, we are popping it off. Flex your fingers. And type up www.sayitloud.com now. And stay in tune with everything. Karen L is on the World Wide Web.